let's say you've laid down your track, you've done your recordings, you've done your editing. The next logical step is, of course, mixing. And when it comes to mixing, Cubasis is extremely powerful. Let me show you a few things that you can do in Cubasis to make your songs sound amazing. When it comes to mixing, most of the work that you're going to do is in the mixer. So I just tap mixer and here we go. Now we can start mixing our song. Now, the great thing with the mixer in Cubasis is that it's completely resizable. So if you want to focus entirely on your mixing, you can just make it full screen, and then you can even change the size of the channels. So you can go from small all the way up to extra large. So I can either have all the channels at a glance, or I can just go deep and start tweaking each channel. Now, of course, we have our faders here. And one thing that you should know is that Cubasis supports microcontrol, HUI, and MIDI learn. So all these faders you can control using a control surface. We have a dedicated video for this, so check it out. It's loads of fun. But even if you don't have a controller, you can, of course, start tweaking your volume levels like this. You can control your panning. We can mute our channels, we can solo our channels. It's very, very easy. Everything is in one place. And if you want to start adding effects, for example, on a channel, you can just hit the E button here, and here you can start adding your effects. And when it comes to effects, Cubasis has quite a few options. To begin with, Cubasis comes with some amazing internal effects. If I go here, you will see we have reverbs, we have the channel strip, we have the studio EQ, we have compressors, we have limiters, we have delays, the amazing Roomworks SC reverb, overdrive, amp simulations, the list goes on. But there are also effects that you can purchase, like the FX Pack 1, which is amazing. It has the tape delay, it has the stereo delay, the non-linear reverb, so many options, and also FX Pack 2. Again, quite a few interesting modulations effects there, like the pan and tremolo. We have the bit reduction, really cool this one. Talk box effects, enhancer, the list goes on. Now, if that's not enough, we also have the Waves plugins that you can purchase, like the audio track, legendary this one, the H delay, Waves L1, the L1 Ultra Maximizer, the EQ Q10, and the Tune Real Time. All these amazing. Again, we have dedicated videos, check them out so that you can hear how they sound. And last but not least, we also have support for audio unit plugins. So if I go to audio units in this case, I can load something, for example, from FabFilter, the Pro Q3, which looks gorgeous over here. And of course, it's all touch enabled, and you can have a high quality plugin like the Pro Q3 inside Cubasis. So that's pretty fantastic. And I want to show you a few more things when it comes to mixing, because Cubasis has many tricks up its sleeve. Now, one of the tricks that I'm using in this specific track is that I'm using a multi-out AU instrument. In this case, I'm using the Groove Rider GR16, and this is a drum machine, right? But you will notice that I only have one instance of this, but I have separated the channels so that the kick drum goes to a separate output, the snare goes to a separate output, and the hi-hats also go to a separate output. And as you can see, here are the 3 different channels. And this is the main channel, so I can activate up to 7 more tracks for this specific instrument, which is really amazing. Again, if you're interested to find out more, we have a dedicated video about this function. But now I want to show you something else, that's the sidechain feature. So in Cubasis, we have sidechaining. And let me demonstrate this for you. Let's go to my pad here, and as you can see, I have a Pro C2 compressor here. And basically what I'm doing here is I'm sidechaining this pad to my kick drum. So I'm going to play just the kick drum and the pad so that you can hear how it sounds. So as you can see, when the kick drum hits, it triggers the compressor, so it reduces the level of the pad. In Cubasis, we also have two types of effects. We have insert effects that are basically dedicated for each channel, and we also have send effects that multiple channels can share. For example, I can have a specific reverb in my project, and maybe I want this reverb to be shared amongst all my vocals, or my vocals and the guitars. And as you can see, we have the insert effects here, but we also have the send effects right here, so we can have delay, reverb, and we can activate more send effects if we want to. And this is also a good way to save some CPU resources instead of just adding a reverb on every single channel. Actually, this is a better way to deal with reverbs and delays and effects like this. So for example, if I want to add some delay to this guitar, I can just drag my slider and select how much delay I'm going to add to this guitar part. Let's try it. Now, another thing that I want to show you is the group tracks. Now, why would you use a group track? Imagine you have multiple vocals or you have your drums and you want to group them together so that you can apply the same processing to all of your drums or all of your vocals. For example, here I have my vocals. I have 3-part harmonies here, and maybe I want to run them through a compressor, maybe a reverb, maybe an EQ. So what I can do is I can add a group track. And now I can select which channels are going to be routed to this group track. So I can say I want my 3 vocal tracks and I'm good to go. It's that easy. And now if I go to my group track, you will see that when I solo it, let's call this all Vox. By the way, we also have keyboard support in Cubasis. Now if I solo this, we will only hear just these 3 vocal channels. And now if I want to lower my vocals in my mix, all I need to do is just lower this one fader. And as you can see now, if I mute the group channel, all 3 vocals get muted. If I want to solo all of them, I can solo all the vocals like this. And it goes without saying that if I want to, I can go ahead and add, let's say, an EQ to all my vocals like this. And I just add the processing on the group channel only. We also have automation in Cubasis, so if you want to record automation, you just hit this W symbol and then you just automate. And then you can just play it back and the automation will follow. And the last thing that I want to show you in this video, because I think it's a highlight, is the master strip. And this is a plugin inside Cubasis that allows you to make your track sound full, sound big, sound wide, because it has a multiband compressor, a stereo imager, and also a loudness maximizer. So it allows you to get this master sound straight inside Cubasis. So let's have a listen with and without. So if you want to mix your songs to perfection, Cubasis has your back. I'll see you in the next one.